Men's basketball suffers an unfortunate string of losses as winter break draws near. Hello, I'm Brendan Rigney.
And I'm Jake Smolinski. And you're watching LaSalle TV's home for Explorer Athletics SportsLine.
Welcome, we've got a great show for you today as Steve Graham sits down with two stars of the LaSalle field hockey team who are back in action at the gym preparing for the spring season. And later, I'll be joined by Cody Barr and STP's Tyler Harper to talk all things men's basketball.
That's right, Brendan. But first, let's catch up on what went down this past week for our Explorer Athletics. The biggest news from the world of the running comes from Indiana, as freshman Morgan Zeckley competed in the NCAA cross-country championships. She finished 136th out of 255 runners, falling from 77th near the end. The rest of the women finished out their season in the Bronx. Megan Connell paced the women at the IC4As, and she finished with a time of 18:41. The next women to finish were Taylor Hackett, Michelle Milan, Olivia Boyer, Courtney Kramer, and Alex Guntel.
The men's side didn't find much success at the ECAC championships as they finished with a team score good enough for 14th place out of 15 teams, including prominent programs like Columbia, Princeton, and Georgetown. Leading the Explorers was sophomore John Pujols, who finished 66 out of 121 runners. Three more sophomores finished for LaSalle within the following 15 seconds.
And with that, our coverage of the 2014 season comes to a close. To celebrate the fall athletes and all of their accomplishments, we brought in two of the season's most prolific players, field hockey stars Devin Morocco and Rachel Hartman, to look back on the season and forward to the future of the program. Take it away, Steve.
Hello and welcome to another edition of On the Sidelines. I am Steve Graham, joined today with some of the stars of LaSalle's field hockey team. I have the goalkeeper here, Rachel Hartman, and a midfielder, Devin Morocco. Glad for you ladies to join us today. So, coming off a really great season, it's the best you had since 1995, 11-6, 5-3 conference record. Can you talk a little bit about the adjustments you made this year compared to last year, of how just really upping your game and taking some wins?
A lot of it was from like our attitude going into it. We came in with a good attitude. Like when we played, we wanted to be there. We wanted to be together. So it just like showed on the field, and it was off the field too.
Everyone was like really into it too. There wasn't anyone on the team who like came out to practice, didn't want to be there. Everyone wanted to be at practice. Everyone wanted to work hard to make ourselves better so we could beat that record that last year we didn't do so well, and this year we just came out and we
wanted it.
Yeah, we all wanted it.
And I know both of you last year were freshmen, and the A-10 obviously was very talented. I know LaSalle struggled, but this year a winning record, 5-3. How did LaSalle match up to that talent as like with young experience and a few seniors? So.
It was just hard work. Like we said, we came out to practice every day and we worked hard. Like we wanted to get up to everyone else's level and be there, and we brought in a lot of talent. So that really helped. And just coming off of last year, the same people on the field, like we all wanted.
Yeah,
like,
we didn't want the same as last year. And like with the freshmen coming in, right off the bat, there was just like really good chemistry between like everyone, and on the field, like it just like matched up, and that's like what helped. Was just we were like cohesive on and off the field.
And I know a lot of the schedule is not at home. You guys were on the road a lot. Was there just talk about a moment you had on the road that was just interesting to play in?
Probably our last game, actually. We were losing, and
for the whole game.
And probably the last 7 minutes, it just something snapped, and we all, and that was kind of like our away games all the time. Like we never really were into it until the last few minutes, and like we say like that's how like that's the team that we are. We're like last minute, like we just come out and we just at the end kill it, and
We came back in the last 7 minutes and won it 3-2. too, which was crazy. It was unreal.
And you mentioned the last game was against Lehigh, correct? And, most of these games that you won, a lot of them were come behind victories, and it took the second half. What was it? Was it a halftime speech every time? What did you lack in the first half that you brought in the second?
I think a lot of the times, like, we would come out and we would kind of just be comfortable.
Yeah.
So if we like scored a goal right off the bat, we'd kind of be like comfortable, and then halftime we know we had to like pick it up if we wanted to like win. So.
And it always came from like one person. Like if I remember in the Lehigh game, Olivia Lehman just came from the backfield and created a scoring opportunity, and after that it was like we were able to pick it up and like win off of that.
Like, we fed off each other.
And you mentioned one of the three seniors you're losing this year, and obviously they were probably some of the leaders on this team. How were them leaving? How will that have effect on the team? Do you think the young talent can step up? Like you said, there's a lot of chemistry.
Yeah, we're definitely losing some like key players and like positions, but like we have a lot of people coming up who can like
Fill
be
in.
there. They'll be missed, but it'll be okay.
And like just us, like we can be good leaders for the younger ones and let them know that they can fill in those spaces and that they have to be confident too.
Yeah.
And now moving on to the more of the individual success, we'll start with Rachel. Last time I checked, third in the nation you finished with save percentage. You're up there with saves per game. I know you played like 3-4 games last year, still getting adjusted to that collegiate level.
Yeah.
How did you prepare for this year to have these kind of stats?
I was just really excited to get the opportunity to like get playing time, and I knew I needed to work hard over the summer because I knew like the starting position wasn't just going to be handed to me because there was a goalie coming up, and I just knew I needed to work hard. And I don't know, when I get out on the field, there's something inside, just like it's natural. It happens.
And a lot of those comeback victories, you helped out with a lot. Was there a memorable game where you're like, this is it, I got to make this save?
There was a couple. I think with Ryder, it was Ryder, right? It was like the overtime. We went into overtime, and I knew it was like you had to stop the balls, and I did, and that was pretty memorable. It was nice.
That's it, stop the balls. Well, on to you, Devin. Last year, all rookie team, and you were named to the second team all conference this year. Second leading scorer, I believe, with 7 goals. How did you really up your game to compete on the collegiate level?
Well, I think this year it started with my injury. I was injured in the beginning of the year, so I didn't get to play that much. But when I came back, like I was just ready to go, and I was fired up, and I really wanted to like help our team get to where we wanted to be. And like going in my freshman year, I was just so excited. Like I'm just like I have that like she said, it's just like there, like that passion inside to like prove yourself and make yourself better and make your team better. Yeah,
definitely. And most of the time you hear a lot of these injuries, in professional sports, they're only motivation, so that's great to hear. But both of you will be juniors next year, and now you're used to winning. I bet you're hungry now. Do you have predictions for next year? As these seniors are leaving, will that have effect on how the team will play, or you realize now these freshmen are going to step up?
I think the freshmen and the underclassmen are going to step up, and I think next year we have a really good chance of like making it to the A10 and even the championship.
Definitely,
I think
I want to make A10s and
definitely be able to
get there.
Because that's what we want to work for. We wanted it this year, and next year we're just going to want it even more.
Yeah, even like I think taking our confidence and like our urge to get into it from this year into next year is going to just like help us a lot.
It's going to show on the field.
Yeah, and I'm still learning the concepts of field hockey. I work sometimes for the athletic department, so I can see you play. But how does it work? I saw you finish 5th in the conference. Do 4 teams make the championship?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were right there.
Just right on the edge. That has to be. Well,
but we were picked to be last, so coming out with that. That's
cool.
I
saw the preseason rankings. So it really is great. But so next year, what is it going to take to reach that milestone, to get to the Atlantic 10 championship, maybe to win a game in there, maybe to win the championship?
I think it's going to start in spring season. We have to bring it as soon as we go into our spring season, and if we have a great attitude going into our season next year, I think the freshmen coming in are going to realize that we really want this, and like I just think everyone's attitude is what is going to affect it.
Yeah, well, we wish you the best of luck next season. But to turn it over to Christmas is right around the corner, so let's talk a little holiday. Start off, what is the best present you ever got for Christmas?
Probably my Miley Cyrus tickets last year.
Yeah, I think my dad makes me like a lot of gifts, and I think like the ones he makes me are like the coolest ones because like they're just like handmade.
He makes
Pretty cool.
like
Well,
wooden?
he like finds things, fixes them up. Like he made me a jewelry box, but it's like this big one. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, I never got that. I remember when I was like 4 or 5, I walked downstairs and there was a ball pit right in the family room. I've never had the biggest smile on my face.
Wow.
It was just a ball. But, all right. Also, a lot of these channels are showing Christmas movies. Is there like your go-to? Like you see it on, you're stopping, you're
Polar
not
Express.
doing any homework. Polar Express is good. That's
It's
with
a
Tom
great-
Hanks. He's like 5 characters. in
Great
that
movie.
film.
Yeah.
Definitely How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
With
Not
like
with
the-
Jim Carrey.
Okay.
Yes.
That's the
Yeah,
best
that
one. I
is-
think that's a good one.
I think I'm a big Elf.
Yeah,
I like Elf.
that
It's
one
fun.
too.
And,
Elf's a good one.
Fred Claus, I think, is really underrated. It's like classic Vince Vaughn,
Yeah.
like ranting the entire movie.
I don't-
But with that, we thank you for joining us.
Of course. Thank you for having
I
us.
wish you the best of luck next season. All
Thanks.
the crew does as well, and happy holidays.
You
It's been
too.
another edition of On the Sidelines. I'm Steve Graham, and back to you guys.
Thanks, Steve. Switching to winter sports, women's swim and dive headed out to the Bucknell Kinney Natatorium to take on 9 opponents, and it proved to be quite the challenge. The Explorers' consistent stars proceeded to stir up a tsunami, however, as Kelsey Jenkinson and Emma Smith swept up the competition. Jenkinson nailed down 2 wins in the 100 and 200-yard breaststroke with times of 1 minute in 4.76 and 2 minutes in 17.72 seconds. Canadian in-point freshman Emma Smith aced the 1650-yard freestyle with 16 minutes and 54.65 seconds. Even in a field with 9 other schools, she finished almost 5 seconds ahead of the rest of the competition. Her 2 wins were not enough for the squad as they scored 5th overall. Bucknell won the meet with Fordham, Georgetown, and Towson following up.
And the men's team also competed at the Bucknell Invitational, although they only faced 6 teams instead of 9. Faring a bit better than the ladies, the men finished in 3rd place. Highlighting the event was rookie phenom Fabian Bergman, who set a new school record in the 200-yard backstroke with a time of 1:46.5. Bergman also took home the victory in the 100-yard backstroke. Fellow freshman Jacob Barshowitz won the 200 and 100-yard butterfly. LaSalle fell to Bucknell by less than 30 points, but topped 4th place Georgetown by over 400 points.
The women's basketball team is on fire. You heard that right. 5 straight wins. Over the Thanksgiving holiday, the Explorers traveled to LIU Brooklyn for the Turkey Classic. They defeated LIU Brooklyn and Towson to place 2nd with a 2-0 record after point differential advantage was given to Rhode Island. LaSalle then hit the road to Robert Morris University on Wednesday night. Alicia Cropper has returned after the injury with great success, adding 22 points to defeat the Colonials 75-61. Micaiah Owens currently leads the Explorers with 101 points so far this season, while Siobhan Beslow tops the rebounding category with 48.
And now let's explore some headlines. The season may be over, but soccer star Kelsey Haycock continues to shine. She was named a semifinalist for the MAC Herman Trophy, as well as a Capital One Academic All-American. The program's all-time leader in goals and in points is one of 35 other LaSalle athletes to earn the scholar distinction, and is only the 6th to repeat in back-to-back seasons.
Haycock is joined by fellow players Kerry Aiken and Mariam Husseini, all 3 being named All-Region by the NSCAA. While Haycock makes the first team, Aiken was named to the 2nd team for her Defensive Player of the Year performance, in which she anchored a squad that allowed only 3 goals in A10 play. Husseini made the 3rd team for the 14 points and 12 assists that she had on the season.
And now let's hit the track. Senior Nico Greco was named to the A10 Academic All-American team. While finishing 6th in the conference championships in November, the digital arts major made the cut for the 2nd year in a row, and now looks to finish the season in fashion at the IC4A championships in the Bronx.
Sticking with scholarly achievements, the men's soccer team earned the NSCAA Academic Award for the 2013-2014 season. With compounded GPA of 3.04, Coach Farrell's squad gets this honor for the 4th time in 8 seasons. The women also performed well, garnering a team GPA of 3.5.
And back in the Gola, women's basketball star Micaiah Owens was named Philadelphia Big 5 Player of the Week. Averaging over 15 points per game, she helped LaSalle win 3 straight to extend their winning streak to 5. Notably, she tied her career high record by scoring 23 points in the Explorers' bout with Manhattan.
Well, that does it for this game's recaps and exploring headlines. But stay tuned because after the break, I'll be joined by self-proclaimed LaSalle men's basketball aficionados Cody Barr and Tyler Harper. Stick around.
You tired of your boring life? Nothing exciting going on anymore? Sick of only doing what you have to do? Tired of the mundane routine? Well, hold up. We have the cure for you. That's right, LaSalle TV. With sports, news, game shows, and more, you'll be sure to find exactly what you've been needing. LaSalle TV. We know you watch.
From our campus to the city of Philadelphia. Tune in and watch because we know you will love LaSalle TV.
LaSalle TV is the place to be. Want to be cool like us is the place to be.
Watching shows, gaining knowledge. This show is the best thing, a part of this college.
Laced with faces, teach about fun. This place is basically for everyone.
It was cool talking to you. Hope you enjoy our flow. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our show.
Welcome back. Men's basketball season is now in full swing, and to help with me and Cody Barr to grasp the state of this team, I'd like to welcome Sports Talk Philadelphia's Tyler Harper onto the show. But before we discuss Dr. G's team, let's see how the Explorers have taken their last 3 games. The Explorers battled tough in Brooklyn, but lost to both Virginia and Vanderbilt University. Virginia came into the game against LaSalle ranked 8th in the country. The Explorers battled back from a 20-point deficit with the help of redshirt sophomore Jordan Price's team-high 20 points. They lost to Virginia 64-56. Jarrell Wright led the Explorers with 19 points in their game against Vanderbilt, yet he was not able to push the Explorers to victory in their final game at the Barclays Center Classics as LaSalle lost 68-58. Lastly, LaSalle came home to the Gola to play Villanova and lost again. The Wildcats outscored the Explorers 47-29 in the first half, which provided a cushion that certainly came in handy when LaSalle came back to score 41 points in the second half. Wright led the team with 19 points and shot 6 for 8 from the field. Khalid Lewis had 17 points of his own, including 2 3-pointers, but wasn't enough. So here's what Coach G had to say about the first half, about the Wildcats and Jarrell Wright's improvements, and even, where to go from here.
I couldn't possibly be more disappointed with the first half. I can't, besides Khalid Lewis making some gutsy plays, I really can't think of anything else good that came from that first half. There's certain things that we worked on defensively that we didn't do at all. Of course, they're very good. They're wonderful, but that's why this was such a meaningful game for us, to be able to test ourselves against an outstanding team like this. And I just couldn't be more disappointed with how we responded in the first half. Well, Jarrell's terrific, and he's an even better person than he is a player. And no one wants to succeed more than him. But this is the 3rd or 4th time where he's gotten 2 quick fouls early in the game. And The only thing, because I know he's highly motivated, I just think he must be nervous. He had none of those issues in the second half. I think if he played in the first half, the game could have been much different. He was either the best player on the court or as good as anyone in that second half. You know, I mean, today was really bad, so it was more than one issue. But I do think that if Jordan, Steve, and Jarrell play the way that they normally do, and we play defense the way that we're taught, that we could beat anybody. So, I mean, that's our formula. We have to man up. I mean, we have to, listen, the second half was our best offensive half of the year. We scored 41 points against a terrific team. Where did it get us? Nowhere. This has to be a defensive team. That's what we are. This has to be a tough, gritty team, and if we're not tough and gritty, we're not going to win.
It wasn't exactly the best game to be seen at the Goal Arena, guys. But let's start with the game against Nova. Off the bat, where did they go wrong, Cody?
I wouldn't say they. I'm gonna place the blame on Jarrell Wright. I am, because he fouled twice and was out of the game by like the 17th minute. And the whole objective of this team is to keep both big men in, and like, he got taken out with 17 minutes left in the first half and didn't play the entire rest of the first half, and then came in the second half and scored, what, 29 points or something? Ridiculous. 19, sorry. I'm getting a little aggressive.
Good Lord.
No, but he scored 19 points. I mean, he could have probably scored 29 points if he was in the first half at all.
Yeah, I mean, the first words out of Giannini's mouth, or some of the first words out of Giannini's mouth for this press conference were, I was embarrassed of that first half. Yeah, not the best thing you want your coach to say when you're playing a nationally ranked team at home, but, I mean, and G said it himself in the press conference, nobody but Khalid Lewis came to play in that first half. I mean, Khalid Lewis has been doing good, and that was kind of the story in the Virginia game too. I was there Friday night at the Barclays Center, and even though the Explorers were hitting a little more shots than they were against Nova, against Virginia, Khalid Lewis was really the constant that helped carry them over. So because of that, I mean, yeah, G said he was hesitant to put Jarrell back in because he was scared that the third foul was going to come immediately and a bad situation was going to become worse. But you have to wonder whether or not he should have put him in at least towards the end of the first half to try to get something going. Do the two of you agree, though, that the team scored 41 points in the second half, but Coach G brought up the fact that they are a defensive-minded team. Right. You know, they shouldn't have to score 41 points. I mean, do the two of you agree with that? I mean, if Wright was in that first half, do you think that Nova wouldn't have scored 47 points in that first half? Do you think Wright's presence would have stopped that?
I absolutely believe that. And what's the problem for me is that this isn't the first time it's happened. Tyler was just talking about the Virginia game. In the Virginia game, he got taken out. I think it was less than halfway through the first half.
Yeah, he got in the foul trouble early again.
He did not play. I think he only played like 14 minutes in that game, some ridiculously small number. And how can you contribute as one of the leaders of the team if you're only on the court for 14, 15 minutes? And his numbers this season are so much lower than Steve Zach. Steve Zach has 204 minutes already this season, and Jarrell Wright has 158.
Yeah, I mean, Coach G thinks it's just a mental thing. Maybe it's nerves. I don't know what it is, but I mean, Cody brought up a good point because in that Virginia game, there was a point where Jarrell, because of foul trouble, was on the bench. He was almost begging Coach Giannini to put him in, and when G said he couldn't because of sub rules, he threw his protection goggles down and they broke. So, I mean, clearly Jarrell knows that he's not in the right mindset right now in regards to foul trouble, and he knows he needs to fix it. He said that in the press conference. But again, you're a senior leader on this team. Honestly, this is something that should be fixed by now, or at least somewhat.
Yeah. I mean, the pressure is on, but they still have, the rest of their season to turn this around.
But we also just faced ranked teams, and these were important wins to get in order to get into March. Not having them now is, I mean, we played close games. The scores aren't that terrible, but like, they don't look at that when they're looking to decide who's going to make it to March Madness. They look at wins and losses.
Yeah, to kind of piggyback off that, I was the one who asked Coach Giannini about what they need to do from here to go to Temple. And that was when he just said, we need to man up. And he brought up the fact that, yeah, they scored, or what was it, 41 points in the second half. Guess what? They didn't get the win. So that doesn't mean anything.
Nothing.
Yeah. I mean, he was pretty blunt about that. I was a little terrified that I asked that question.
The Explorers are now at 4-3. That's 0-3 in the last 3 games. What do you think we should, I mean, there's so much improvement that we need to get back to the
There's no offensive kickstart. There really isn't. The only person that's been driving it, like we've been talking about, is Khalid Lewis, and you can't just put it all on one player. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's hard for us as fans to watch because we've been used to 4 or 5 scorers on the team that can just come in and out, you know. And with the seniors that left, they were all high scorers, and now we're like, who's gonna do that? We're very defensive minded, but you know, you need somebody. You can't win a game if you don't score points.
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up. Tyler, who do you think is the most underperforming player on the team currently, offensively?
As much as I hate to bring up his name because I wrote a feature about him in the Collegian, and he's a really good guy, where in the world is DJ Peterson right now? He's got 28.3 minutes per game he's averaging, only 3 points per game. That's not good, especially for another four-year senior. I'm wondering almost now why he's still in the starting lineup at this point. And again, I like DJ as a guy. He's a good team player, and it's 3.9 rebounds a game, but you got to put points on the board if you want to stay in the starting lineup and to help your team get some more wins.
Before we leave, we have one quick question. Jordan Price coming in those first 4 games and just going on fire. Do you see that continuing into the stretch of the season?
I think he is a great offensive player, but I am deeply concerned about his turnovers. And they're not, like, when you watch him play and his turnovers that occur, you're like, what, like, why did, you know, it's not like they caused a turnover. He just makes these strange mistakes that you're just kind of taken back by, and it's holding me back from completely being convinced that he is the person that's going to lead us to the promised land type of
Do
thing.
you agree that Price is the answer or no?
I think he will be, but Ramon Galloway, Tyrone Garland, and Jordan Price, what do the 3 have in common? They all force 3-pointers. Jordan Price in the Nova game was 0 for 4, and there was one 3-pointer, I think it was the first half, that he took from nearly half court that when he shot it, everyone was just like, why are you taking that shot? I mean, when he gets on fire from beyond the arc, yeah, that's great, but you can't always just go, quickly chuck the 3 and see what happens. You got to think things through with your offense, and I think he'll be able to do that. He was a good scorer at Auburn, and again, he was good for the first 4 games. I think once he clears his head, he'll be okay.
Well, I'm hoping that they'll turn that around. I can tell you that everybody here at LaSalle has that Temple game highlighted on their calendar, but just a team to watch out for throughout the rest of the holidays. But sadly, that wraps it up for this week and this year. We won't be back for new episodes of SportsLine until the end of January. Oh. Though we will not be on campus, be sure to keep up with LaSalle sporting events by following us on Twitter at SportsLineLTV. We post game updates even when we're on vacation.
You can also check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalleTV. We welcome you to send your thoughts and suggestions about the show on either website.
For Jake, Tyler, Cody, Steve, and our entire SportsLine team, that's a mouthful, I'm Brendan Rigney. Thanks for joining us. Have a safe and happy holiday season, and we'll see you in 2015.